problems into it today. So we talked last week about how our goal in business was to make a profit. And that's what we're going to kind of start to look at today. How do I use this in an application setting? Now, our numbers, because we're going to end up grabbing things by hand, are going to be smaller than what they would be in like the real world. The real world would use products and money and thousands and millions and billions. We're not doing that because that's really hard to graph, but we're scaling our numbers down to be appropriate for what we're going to do. So we're going to do 3 of the problems together. We're going to start with number 1, which is talking about Superbat Incorporated. Superbat makes 2 different types of wooden baseball bats, the homer hitter and the big timber. And there is a bunch of information here in these bullet points about both of those bats. It tells you that the homer hitter takes 8 hours to trim and turn on the lathe. The lathe is the thing that cuts the bat into bat shape. And takes 2 hours to finish. That would be sanding, putting the polyurethane on, making the bat look pretty. And it tells you that the homer hitter makes a profit of $17. Tells you the same information about the big timber. It takes 5 hours to trim, 5 hours to finish, makes a profit of $29. Total, Superbats has 80 hours for trimming and 50 hours for finishing. Here's the question. How many of each kind of bats can Superbats make to make the largest profit? So, I'm going to give you a number of hints and tricks and suggestions on where to start on these kind of problems. The first question is, what are your variables? Well, our variables for this kind of thing are typically X and Y. Now, we need to figure out what is going to be X and what is going to be Y. So here's tip and trick number 1. To find the variables, what's X and what's Y, go to the money. All right? What's our goal of this? I'm going to come down to B. I'm skipping back and forth between A and B here. What's the objective? What's the goal? Well, the goal is to find the maximum profit. Right? That is our goal for today. I want to find where the money takes me. How much money can I make? So, let's talk about profit. All right? That is where we go to find the variables. Right? Because my goal is, how many of each kind of bat must be made to maximize the profit? If I look to that profit information, I'm going to find my X and the Y. Where else do you see the word profit up here? The first bullet point says what? It says each homer hitter makes a profit of 17, and the big timbers make a profit of 29. So if I know that each kind of bat makes me a profit, what do you think my variables are going to be? Let someone mumble something. Okay, so my X and Y will be each kind of bat. What's one kind of bat that we have? What should be X? The homer hitter. So we'll let X be the homer hitter. And Y is going to be the big timber. So to define your variables, figure out what makes you money. The homer hitters and the big timbers make you money. Now that I know that, let's write our profit, or we call it the objective, our goal, the objective quantity. So I'm going to write, instead of F of X and Y, I'm going to write P of X and Y. My profit for all the homer hitters and big timbers equal. Well, I'm going to use every single number that is up above. How much money do I make for a homer hitter? 17. So I'm going to cross it off so I know that I already used the 17. 17 per homer hitter, 17X. How much do I make for a big timber? 29. So my equation would be plus 29Y. I use 2 numbers, 1 thing's done. Are we good so far? So now I'm going to write that system. What the things are that we're going to graph. Now my suggestion for the system, until you get better, and some of you will want to do this the whole time, some of you will not do this after today, is make a table to stay organized. So my table here is going to have 4 columns. Across the top of the columns, I want you to write topic, X, Y, total. All right, that is going to be the categories of each column for every table that we make. Now, this is just a way to help you get organized and to think about how am I going to write these equations. So, the hard part, at least until you get used to these problems, is how do I know what equation to even write about? Right? What's the topic of each equation? So my suggestion, this is tip, I guess number 3, because the table is trick number 2, is look for the totals that you are given. Okay, so do you see the word total anywhere? Where? Yeah, the total time for trimming and lathing is 80 hours. Right? And then we also know the total time for finishing is 50 hours. I have 2 totals, right? If I look back up above, do I get any other numbers about trimming and lathing? I do, right? 8 hours to trim, 5 hours to trim. That total of trimming and lathing is going to be one of my equation topics. Okay, so one of my topics is how long does it take to trim and lathe the bats? Right, because I know a total, and we said the total for that is 80 hours. I can cross off the 80. Now let's go back through the problem. How long, X is homer hitters, how long does it take to trim a homer hitter? 8 hours, right? So I'm going to put an 8 here under the X next to trim. And how long does it take to trim a big timber? 5 hours, so I put a 5. Now let's turn that into an equation, not just put numbers in there. Since I'm in the X column, I'm going to make this 8X and a 5Y. Now I'm going to turn this into an equation, so I'm going to put a plus sign in between the 8X and 5Y. And hit 80, it needs a symbol there. Can I use more than 80 hours to trim? No. Could I use less? I could. Could I use equal to 80? Yeah, so what should I put here? Less than or equal to. There's one of your inequalities for your system. Now, I've used 3 of the numbers. I have a couple more to go. What other total do they give you? Finishing, right? There's 50 hours for finishing, so that's your other equation. I have a total with a 50 over here about how long it takes to finish the bats. So does it tell me how long do I take for the homer hitter to finish? 2. So I'm going to put a 2 under the X column. I'll do a 2X. I'll stick to that. And how long to finish the big timbers? 5Y. And just like the last problem, I put a plus sign in between the 2 variables. And can I go more than 50 hours to finish? Nope, but I can go less than or equal to 50 hours. Follow that okay? So here's my system. I want to clean this up a little bit. My system over here. My first equation was 8X plus 5Y less than or equal to 80. And then my second one was 2X plus 5Y less than or equal to 50. Now, we're almost done. Not quite. There's a box at the bottom. Let's talk about the box. It says, well, not explicitly stated. So basically, while I didn't say this, something was implied. It was implied that you cannot make a negative number of baseball bats, right? Can't make negative 12 homer hitters. Could you make 0 baseball bats? Yeah. You can't make negative. So we have to add 2 inequalities to our list. We're not done. We have to add one. We have to say, I have to make X is greater than or equal to 0. I can't make negative homer hitters, but I can make 0 or positive homer hitters. And what other inequalities should I add? Y is greater than or equal to 0. Good. And those, I just want you to add them right underneath your system right there. And that would be everything. Right? I can't make negative. I don't have a limit explicitly stated on how many homer hitters, but I do have a minimum, less. Okay? So these 2 inequalities we just wrote, those are almost always going to be included. Okay? We'll see a situation tomorrow where it's not. Flip over. We're going to skip number 2 for now. And I want you to write next to it, though. We're not going to do it right now. We'll come back to it. But next to example 2, I want you to say like number 1. Okay? Put a note to yourself. Number 2 is very similar to number 1. We're going to do number 3 together. So we're going to talk about jean and leather jackets. Stitches Incorporated can make at most 30 jean jackets and 20 leather jackets in 1 week. It takes 10 worker hours to make a jean jacket and 20 hours to make a leather jacket. The total number of hours by all their employees can be no more than 500 per week. And they tell you about profit. So we need to define our variables and write a profit function to start. So where did I say to look to identify what X and Y are going to be? Profit. So look to the profit. So we have here a whole sentence about profit. What two things make us a profit? Jean jackets and leather jackets. Which one do you want to be X? Jean jackets. Okay, so that means leather jackets are going to be your Y variable. Okay, look to the money. Mrs. Danhoff likes to say, show me the money. Let's write our objective equation, your profit equation. What's the profit for all the jean jackets and leather jackets? Okay, so how much does a jean jacket make you? $20. So I'll have 20x plus leather jackets is 50y. All right, so I've already used two of my numbers. Now we're just to the system part. So we're going to set up our table. Now remember, across the top we're going to have 4 columns. What were the things that go across the top of the columns? Topic, X, and total. Good. Okay. Now this one's going to be a little different. That's why I skipped number 2 for now. Number 3 is different than the first one. We are still going to start by looking for a total to come up with a category or a topic. Do you see any numbers that talk about totals? Which one? Yeah, the total number of hours by all the employees can be no more than 500. 500 is a total. Well, what do you think the topic of that equation with a total of 500 would be? Work hours, right? So let's do an equation about work hours. Okay. Now, do you see work hours that have to do with jean jackets? Yeah, it takes a worker 10 hours to make a jean jacket. So I'm going to cross off the 10. I'm going to say it took me 10 hours to make a jean jacket. And how much to make a leather jacket? 20, so plus 20y. And what symbol is going to go in here? Less than or equal to. All right, now I have only, I cross off the 500. I only have 2 numbers left. This is where things get a little different. Do I have a total, another total that they gave me? No. But I am told that stitches can make at most 30 jean jackets and at most 20 leather jackets. So what they do tell me, while there's no total here, they do tell me the number that I can make, right? They do give me some other information. This equation, this is going to be a little different, right? They don't tell me total between leather and jean that I can make however many jackets, right? They don't say you can make 50 jackets. What they do say is I can make just for the X's, just for jean, no more than 30. So is anyone able to come up with an equation with an X and a 30 that says I can't make more than 30? What do you think, Maddie? Yeah, so this is just a little inequality. X is less or equal to 30. This one doesn't have a plus in it. That's your equation right there. Can you come up with something similar with the 20? Yes, y is less than or equal to 20. And I've used all my numbers. So let's make our system, because this is going to also look a little different. So I have 10x plus 20y is less than or equal to 500. Then I have my x is less than or equal to 30, and my y is less than or equal to 20. What did I leave off? I can't make the negative. So I have to add in x is greater than or equal to 0, and y is greater than or equal to 0. Can someone think of a way, instead of listing, I could just list them, a way that I could combine these with something else up there, Rowan?
You could put 0 is less than or equal to x is less than.
Yes. You guys see that? Okay, I can make that a compound inequality. I can't make negative, but I can make from 0 up to 30 jean jackets, from 0 up to 20 leather. Does that make sense? Cool. But that was a little bit different. I wanted to show that one too. You okay so far? Let's do one more. So flip over. Next to number 4, I want you to write a note to yourself that says, like number 3. We're going to skip this one for now. So this one's like number 3. And I also want you, because a lot of people miss this line, can you underline this line right here? It's not like that it's more important. It's just a lot of people miss it. and they want you to see, like there's a line of information there for you. Okay? All right, let's do number 5, and then we'll be all set. So 5 is kind of like, it's kind of like number 1, but it has something that's a little different that I want to make sure you see. Let's talk about farming. So a farmer asked for your advice on the best strategy for planting wheat and corn on her 500-acre farm. To make it through harvest time, each acre of wheat requires 1 person day of labor, and it will cost her $20. So that's for farming, for paying for employees' expenses and things. 1 acre of corn requires 5 days of labor and expenses of $30. She has $11,400 to spend and 1,480 days of labor. Okay, so let's identify X and Y. Remember, we always start with looking at our profit here. So the last part of the sentence, she expects to make a profit on what 2 things? Wheat and corn. What do you want to make X? Wheat, okay. And Y is corn. So now it's a little easier to see those X and Y's, right? Now we've done a couple. Let's talk about our profit. The profit for the farmer on all her wheat and all her corn is what? How much does she make for an acre of wheat? $90. So 90X plus how much for corn? 120Y. Okay. So we've got a number of our numbers gone. All right. So let's build our table. If you're feeling good here, you can always work a little bit ahead. So I have topic, X, Y, and total. What total are you given? Any total? 11,400, right? The farmer has a total of $11,400. What topic do you think that $11,400 goes to? What other money numbers up there have we not used? Expenses, right? So this is her like expenses. She has $11,400 to spend on expenses. Well, what's the expense for an acre of wheat? $20, right? So it's $20 for an acre of wheat in expenses, plus how much for an acre of corn? $30. And she can spend no more than her total of $11,400 on those expenses. You good there? All right, what other total does she give you? The days of labor, right? She has a total of 1,480 days of labor. Right? And that's with all her employees combined, right? She doesn't have like 3 years worth of labor, 3 or 4 years. It's like all her employees combined. So, how many days of labor is it for an acre of wheat? 1, so I'll have 1x. Plus, how much is it for an acre of corn? 5. And she can use no more than 14,800. Now, when I look up above, cross off here, there's one number I haven't used. What number is that? 500. So, what does that 500 say? It says she wants your advice to plant wheat and corn on her 500-acre farm. Where would the 500 go? What column would that fall under? Was that a topic, an X, a Y, or a total? It's a total. The 500 is, I'm going to extend these. We're going to write another equation. The 500 is a total. Right? What is the 500? What's the topic of this equation? Acres. Right? She has 500 total acres. Now, the reason I'm doing this problem is because this equation can get a little goofy. She doesn't tell you how many acres need to be for wheat or how many acres need to be for corn. She just tells you that the total between wheat and corn is 500. Does anyone have an idea how I could write that? No, I'm gonna write a whole equation here. 1, 1, 0. X plus Y. All the wheat plus all the corn can't use more than 500 acres. There's no other constraint on that other than all the wheat and corn have to total 5. Good. So let's write our system. And then we're set. So just copy them over nicely. 20x plus 30y. And if you didn't copy them over, I'm not going to yell at you. It just looks better. Hello, we're almost done here, Miss Meyer, and then I'll good to go. All right, and what equations are we missing? X is greater than or equal to 0, and y is greater than or equal to 0. Good job. I want you to go back. Can you do 2 and 4 for me? That's your practice. I'll come around and help you.
Would you mind having him do that? I would
Oh my God.
No.